Okay, good morning, guys. Actually woke up this morning, and the last few days, I've really wanted to sit down and play around with a little bit of just shutting off the brain and doing a little bit of sketching or art or something. And so we got a little coffee, and I figured if I'm going to go ahead and do this and play around, when we play around with the live stream. So what I do just for myself is this. This is from like 4 or 5 years ago. I tried a live stream. I did a live stream that I thought was successful, where I recreated the corner box of the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man. And since then, I've ended up doing quite a few little sketches here and there. And I get these cheap little frames. This is on cheap paper. I put them in the frame, and I'm kind of filling up little spaces on the walls as I do them. Man, this is purely decorative. Hey, good morning, John. So John is here in the comments, and that is as always that is my cue to have you guys please subscribe, give it a thumbs up. This is not normally what I do on my channel, but I'm going to start playing around a little bit. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell so you'll know when I do these things. As we go into the winter months, I'm going to be doing a bit more live shows randomly, due to weather and everything like that. And try to chill out on Sundays. Sundays is usually comic book talk, a little rainy Sunday or something. But this morning, well, I'm just going to kind of sketch out. So I've already sketched out something. We're going to fill it in. Oh, thanks, man. But like I said, this is from a few years ago, and it's on cheap paper. It was just ink, water, and just me sort of talking through. Um, Believe it or not, I don't know why that's so hard to believe. I don't really draw superheroes that much or pop culture things a little bit, but I've played around with it. As a kid, it was all over my notebooks, all over everything. I have very minimum art training. Okay. So this is all for fun. And I think if you do anything like read comics, appreciate cartoons or Pixar, things like that, anybody can pick up anything. A couple of months ago, I recreated this. Piece here, playing around with watercolors. I'm going to probably get in there and put on another layer of watercolors to make this more rich. This is from an actual cover of that. I just saw that hanging out over there. And then one of the what I want to be drawing to the sketching out I'll show you today. This is very iconic for me, right? These are my cards. I get these. Let me see if I have one here. And guys, I hope you can hear me all right. I got the microphone a little bit further away. But I really dig these trading cards. Around 2017 or 18, Charleston 66 and I were at Baltimore Con, and I saw a couple of young lads going around, and they were painting artists like Paris Cullins and other comic book artists. They were just filling up this little box of these, and then I found out there was a whole thing out there. So I do these for fun. I don't know if I'll ever sell these or if anybody would be interested in them. And these were my experiments at first. That's why they're big, bolt, full of light. I want them to look like cartoons. And as you can see, we're doing wizards here. Wizards and I go back, and there's Thundar, Space Ghost, Hellboy, little shadow that I did. This is Beetlejuice from the back of the DVD complete set box. I end up doing these when I'm sitting on the couch and my wife is on her way back from work or something. I'll just sit down and try to do these very quickly. And I've kind of gotten off track. Okay. So this is the DVD box. This is what I used to inspire this. This is the William Stout, and I made sure I get credit where credit is due. This is the William Stout movie poster from 1977, I guess, and it's such an iconic image. Of course, the DVD has added a lot more color to the backgrounds, made it richer. 1977 is when this glorious cartoon animated feature came out. Came out the same weekend as Star Wars. Even has Mark Hamill doing a voice. But this is also something that I saw when I was about 5. I saw the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings and Wizards at a local community college when I was 5. They had it for free. My stepdad at the time and mother were very young. I'm assuming he may have been taking classes. That's how we ended up going and seeing it. So I was surrounded with a bunch of hippies who had missed out on the love while they had this on a projector. And this iconic image has always been around. So what I was doing the other night, I just had the DVD out. And yes, I still do physical media. And I finally just sort of started going ahead and trying to sketch it out. It really surprised me how I've drawn Peace in these characters before, but I never really tried to do this. I have met William Stout, who did this piece at Heroes Con. Have a few pictures with him, and I have a print signed by him of this. Right, so I figure we'll just take whatever little art supplies I have on this cheap little sketchbook, and I'm going to spend my morning kind of filling in the blacks and things. What's great about this is you don't really have to build up your confidence. You don't really have to worry about messing up. See if we can get a little closer there. Don't really have to worry about messing up, if you will, or embarrassing yourself online. This is cheap paper. And this is going to go in this is something just for me to hang on the wall, whether it comes out well or not. We'll spend other times doing things. So let me grab something real quick to put underneath this, because as I said, this is just cheap sketchbook paper. This was a gift, right? And this is things that I just kind of practice on. When this was given to me as a gift, it came with pencils. So I played around at a quick Johnny Quest sketch there, trying to fill the pencils out. There's a little Vampire Hunter D I did with two Sharpie markers that were dying. So I went ahead and just tried where I was getting different values. I was playing around with some I think one's in here, Sharpie markers while we were watching Vampire Hunter D with the stepson who had never seen it before. Just kind of quickly did these. I must have had a Harvey comic laying around or something. Working on ideas for an original piece. That's a bit more my speed there. This is just an idea. And then we turned around and, like I said, it was last night. What is this? Oh no, a couple nights ago. Excuse me. I must have done this Tuesday night. I just kind of came home, crashed on the couch. I think the wife, actually, I think I remember now, the wife was reading on her Kindle, and I think I started drawing here. So let me find something to stick underneath here and we'll get started. What we're probably going to be using is I have some new ink pens, just whatever I find in here. I have some markers also. I just go to Hobby Lobby and grab whatever I can find. I love these Pigma pens. I hope you guys can see all right. And then we have some illustration markers, as they call them. And then we have, and this is totally the wrong paper, but it never stops me anyway. We have a ton of alcohol markers that will probably play around with some colors here. So let me see what I can find here to stick underneath there. This won't take but a minute, and then we'll get started. We won't use that one. Okay. So what we're going to use is I grabbed a comic, and we're just going to pull out the backing board, stick underneath here, so whatever we do doesn't really go under there too far, right? So guys, it's not so much this being a tutorial. This is just for me to say that anybody can sit around and do this in the privacy of your own home. Now, after years, can you see, guys? How's the lighting on this? Let me know there. Hey, Paolo. Hey, John. Back again? Paolo, I decided I was going to draw a little bit this morning. And I figured why not just do it here and talk about the Ralph Bakshi stuff, right? So I'm going to move this light a little bit closer for you guys. I don't know if it made a difference, but it helps me there. Okay, guys, so when you're doing comic book art, there's some really cool things if you're going to do it that way. But one of the things I've kind of seen, I've read the How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way by John Buscema, and I've watched Terry Moore and a bunch of other people give little art tutorials at these little cons and stuff. And one of the things I've always noticed is the outside line, the silhouette, if you will, and this sort of art is usually thicker than what you're going to use on the inside. I don't know if that's a rule of thumb. That's just something I've noticed with some artists. And we're talking like Tom Palmer, that I've like, he's like the inker, probably the only inker I probably have tried to study his art since I was a kid, in the stepdad's collections. And like I said, guys, we're using the William Stout's DVD here. So this is like a quick sketch out. But what I've always understood is, got in there, just commit to it. You're not going to be perfect. You don't need to try to be perfect. This is just for fun. The only thing I'm worried about is I get quiet when I do this. This is the stuff I do just to kind of shut my brain down. And hopefully we can do this to where I'm left-handed, so maybe I can do this to where we can still see. So what I usually do is one of two things. I'll end up, a lot of people got to get past the psychological part of having a white page in front of them when they're doing charcoal. They'll just smack some charcoal on there. When you have something like this, where I've got a sketch here, the one or two things I end up starting, like maybe do a little bit of outlining, or I will turn around and just start blocking in some blacks and stuff, right? And that might be the way to go with this, right? So yeah, I'm left-handed, so we'll try to have it something where you can see actual drawing and not somebody. But a lot of people will move their things around, move their paper around, move their sketchbook around. So that's a little bit challenging because I'm one of those guys. And what's really cool about this is I'm really familiar with this character and this art style, so I can add as I go along because I've seen it. But this character was based on Mark Baudet underground art. What was it? Cobalt 99 maybe or something. It's a Sunday morning. I'm drinking coffee, so we'll see how it goes. And then, of course, Ralph Bakshi came in there with his animation, the guy that started out on Mighty Mouse back in the, what was it, the 50s. And the guy's still kicking. I have him on my social media. He's still doing art. It looks like oils and acrylics in a very post-apocalyptic style. And then so I have a lot of his work, a lot of his 70s animations. I watched the Fritz the Cat. There's one called Heavy Traffic. I absolutely love that one. His absolute most underrated piece of work. I think it was based in New York. He based some of the characters on his parents, due to one being Jewish, one being Catholic, and it's in dirty, nasty New York. I absolutely love it. And I remember seeing all these things, probably on these DVDs and just other things over the years, where he was like, Disney will lie to you. Disney lies to you guys. We're here to tell the truth. And he was just had a big old mad on for Disney. And that's one of the things that struck me because I never understood that. Why would you have a mad on for Disney? Disney is for families. Disney's is nice. And, after I've seen the way they've destroyed franchises, I think they were on to things. I also found out Tolkien was not a fan of Disney, if you will. Cobalt 60, Paolo. That's right. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I wanted to figure. Yeah, well, we're all right here. Let me get a little closer here. Maybe we can get past my hand. Yeah, that'll help. Anyway, so like I said, I'm using the William Stout here, kind of like this is a guide for lighting and things like that. Trying to make sure I don't mess anything up too bad. But I've watched this. I've had this on bootleg VHS. I've had this on, what are we doing here? I've had this on actual legal VHS. And then over the years, I've had it on DVD. Never went to Blu-ray. Now I have it on demand or whatever on Fandango over here, where we can just kind of pull it up. Let's block some of that in. And I've just noticed I probably make little faces and stuff as I do this and stuff, right? Now the Mark Baudet style is revolutionary, man. I still see it. We have a lot of trains that come through here where it's a coal mining town of various layoffs and stuff like that. And we all know that coal mining towns are run down and I've seen their glory days, and I think they just did some layoffs around here, but we still have a lot of get some perspective in here. William Stout. I'm going to over exaggerate some things. It blew my mind because there's little things I started noticing how this guy's a master. The perspective on this sheet to write piece on the back of it is amazing. And then the little detail that he comes in here with in layers. So you have a top layer, a middle layer, another top layer, and then a third layer in the back. If you think of it in planes and stuff like that. I just think that is just freaking amazing, how he makes it look so easy. I would love to know how much, work and effort he had to do on this stuff. So instead of blacking this out, I'm going to have lines to kind of exaggerate and give a feel of depth. Now, like I said, this stuff works for me. I actually taught Art 1 when I was in Art 4 in high school. and then messed around with some things. I'll do some correction as we go here. I'd like to put more of me in this, but if I'm going to be talking, we'll just kind of let it go there. But anyway, and then over the years, I've just sort of played around with it. Got out of it for a while because of life and other things that are going on. Uh, big into camping, went into the military, did a few things. Now, what I'm just using the bold out of these micron pins, and just kind of playing around, seeing what we can come up with. Now, there's a way to do wrinkles in material and things like that. That's a cheat. You can try to make X's and Y's. Actually, try to make letters in them. So, like I said, I'm just kind of playing around here. Much more relaxed than I thought I would be. So anyway, I don't know if you've seen this. Now, the other movies that I've sort of grew up on and liked that are like adult animation and things like that, that I consider this Heavy Metal from 1981. I hate to sound like, oh, it had a huge effect on me, but Heavy Metal magazine was in the house, and the Heavy Metal movie was one of, rentals early in the 80s. I know we saw Flash Gordon rental, Planet of the Apes. I remember a lot of sci-fi, and I know that Heavy Metal made their way in there, and I had that. I still have the VHS tape where the stepdad had Wizards, Heavy Metal, Flight of Dragons, and there's a third one I can't think of. So all this stuff to me just kind of goes together there. Hey, John, what's going on? Gore, is that? Is that a hoodie or Bond Booster Gold? Oh, Gore. Gore on a Sunday morning before I've even finished my coffee attacks me with Booster Gold. Oh, no. Booster Gold ends up involved in anything that I actually love. Oh my God. Now he's been associated with this. Amazing. Morning, nice. Hey guys. Thank you. Thank you. All right. But anyway, I don't know if you guys have seen the Heavy Metal, but the Heavy Metal movie of 1981 not only does it have a fantastic soundtrack, if you want to kind of get retro a little bit, it's got a song called Take a Ride by Don McLean. Is that his name, from the Eagles? But I absolutely love that song. But it has Mobius art in it, Bernie Wrightson art and stuff. They actually took characters and stories from Heavy Metal of the 70s. We got to see them animated in little 10, 15-minute segments, and they came up with the Lochnar to tie it all together, to try to make it sort of a cohesive movement. But I saw nothing but like pure love and animation and art and stuff like that, man. It was so much different than what we saw, because when I was a kid, a lot of the animation in theaters I saw, of course, was Jungle Book, maybe Peter Pan, The Rescuers. You had new animated features of Disney, but they also would release other things. Now, I didn't make them slouch enough, but that's just, like I said, this is just a little bit for fun here. So let's go on down the line here. Sometimes less is more. We'll come back in, do some of these wrinkles. And here we go. I figured this is the kind of stuff that I was going to fix while I was here. Maybe not. So let's thicken up this chair here and see if we can't get some kind of better perspective going in there. Probably won't, but that's all right. That up a little bit. Still want to make it round and metal-like. It's going to be shiny. All right. Let's go ahead and add a little metallic shine to it. Get a little direction there. I'm going to over-exaggerate it. Yeah, not a win there. Not a win, but that's okay. It's the kind of thing I can go back and probably fix later. And then we have peace wrote in there. Freehanding, guys. Good enough. And then what else do we have? Ralph Bakshi also came out with American Pop, if you're into music. It's the history of a family where they experienced the Depression, World War I, the 70s, punk in the 70s. musicians, man. There's one scene, I think it's in World War II, where they're in some European town, I'm assuming, where I'll probably go over that with some gouache, some white gouache, and write that piece in better. But there's a scene where there's German soldiers running around. They're in all the village that they're in. It's nothing but rubble. They're made out of stone. The ceilings have been blown away. The roofs are gone. And in the middle of all this, one of the soldiers who's part of this family that they document through the generations there, he finds a piano. And if I remember right, right in the middle of all this rubble with the Nazis around, he starts playing music. And I think he gets shot by a Nazi from behind. The guy was a artist and a musician, I guess, instead of a soldier. Now, what I like about this is you can just exaggerate things with the anatomy. Just go how you feel. I love the big forearms. Probably where I watched Popeye and stuff, but I like the whole idea of gigantic forearms, and then the arm gets a little bit thinner as we go up. Kind of gives it weight, in my opinion. We have the gloves here. The little details just make it come alive. When you look at it as a whole piece, there's a lot of things you just don't really see. And then as you start doing this, you're sort of like, there's a little bit more detail that brings this stuff to life than I thought. Okay, let's do the thumb. I want to do my kind of thumb. That's supposed to be holding the right. Well, it's supposed to be holding this rope for our beast here, but we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm about to finish up some of this stuff. Start bringing out the smaller pins. But that's what I mean, man. Just kind of go where it feels. Change things as you go along if you want. You see little details. That's what I mean, my guys. If you just sit down and do it and don't expect perfection, kind of let it do its thing, you might be surprised with what you come out of. So I did a little bit of a cheat here. I went ahead and put a shadow on the bottom of the foot. Okay. All right. So that's enough for now. So let's get a little thinner pen to keep you guys entertained. Probably gonna go with a 3. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the nibs, a lot of people are probably yelling at me like, "Of course we know, Tim," but they have little numbers to show that the nibs get thinner and thinner. I don't want to go too thin, so we're gonna go with an 03 for now to kind of get in there and do some wrinkles. Now, if you've read Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller, oh God, which one is it? Which cover is it? Is it the third one? I can't believe I'm going blank on this. But anyway, there's one of them where Batman is just beat all the shit on it, right? And when you look into the detail, I'm convinced that he took the little nibs and he put like dozens of wrinkles in the costume to help Batman look like he was just beat up and stuff, right? All right, so we got little wrinkles here under the shoulders. Okay, don't overthink it. Just kind of think about, little motion in there, how fabric moves. It just kind of crinkles up. And think about where it crinkles up, everywhere we bend. And then, of course, we got this seam going down the clothes. And you can just kind of carry that down. And that's like a ribbon through, that kind of connects a lot of little movements like that, little long lines like that will connect gives it flow, connects the entire picture together and stuff, little details like that. And like I said, I might go over some of these wrinkles again with a thicker pen, but we'll see what happens. And this is why I kind of get quiet, guys. There's times where I just start feeling where it needs to go as I kind of look at it. And under the knees. Around where the ankles are. And just kind of start seeing it in your head a little bit, like if this was right in front of you in real. Some detail. Get a little knuckle action going there. Not the kind you're thinking of. Pervs. Let's see, maybe a little bit here. All right. All right, guys. I think it's coming out pretty well. I'm happy with it. Get a little shadow here, a little weight here to separate the arm from the leg. Add a little extra there. Okay. I think it's coming out all right. I don't know about you guys. So what we got here? Nice, thank you, Gore Vidal. Heavy metal has a great soundtrack. Absolutely, I'll pop it in every now and then. I actually have the God, is it the 45? I have a little 45, I think, of the single. Yeah, 45s are the single. 45 of Devo doing working in a coal mine or whatever it is from that. And then a few other things I have, but yeah, I have the soundtrack here also. Frazetta, Moriarty, Geiger. Akira, nice guys. Akira is fantastic. Oh my god. What I like about the Akira anime is I have read the entire Akira box set that I have in the bedroom, and it's a freaking masterpiece. It's just amazing. And the same person who wrote Akira the manga wrote the anime, and there's little bits and pieces that fill in there. You don't have a direct translation. He added a little bit to he added there's parts that add to the story. So I freaking love it, you know. Frazetta, I don't remember not knowing Frazetta. I mean, let's face it. Here we go, Paolo. Need to find what Baudet's what Baudet's influences were. He was a contemporary of Corbin, as well as a compatriot of the indie comic scene. There was, to be sure, EC there. He had some iconic, yeah. But yeah, I have no idea who his influences were. But obviously, I didn't finish my story though about the coal mine, the trains around here. So we have trains running the coal mines and stuff, and these trains, come from everywhere. And down in town, there's some trains that have been parked forever. It feels like they haven't been moved, and basically, there's a lot of graffiti on them. And I have seen more Baudet graffiti art than anything. I have seen Kilroy was here. Frodo lives to this day, and Baudet art blows my mind. I've seen a few Commandy, which blows my mind, guys. Yeah, need to round this off a little bit. I think I've just add a little bit here. Yeah, there's not all the little details are showing up here, but it's all right. Okay, get this little circle here at the top. All right. Now we're going to mess around with this gun. This gun is not going to be a translation. I am going to try to make this gun mine for whatever it is. So we have silver rings going on here. I'm trying to do this where you guys can see. So what we want to do is we'll just do the stock. It's got metal rings going around it. We just won't get too fancy there. All right, we have some fingers here wrapped around it. Nice pudgy ones. We have the trigger. See, this is what I'm saying, guys. Don't overthink it, man. If you can see it, just get it down. A little bit of a thumb here. And then we go into the forearm. And I'm exaggerating, making it thinner in places, so to kind of give it some depth. And we'll do some wood grain. Piece of metal going all the way up. Yeah, this part for me is kind of weird to talk while I'm doing it. This is the part where I usually get very quiet and get a little bit creative. My cats are fighting. Hey, guys. Go on. For me, they're probably playing cat games, and I just busted up their morning. Who knows? Yes, I just noticed I made sound effects to go with my pen right here. Let's do a little bit more wood grain. Round it off. Go up the stock here. It's still more of a laser beam, so it doesn't want to fatten it up here at the end. And plug it up. And then it seems like this continues. So let me see here. Add a little extra there. And then we'll add a little. All right. Sometimes less is more, guys. Less is more. And of course, I'll go over this and get rid of all that. So there we go. We have the weapon, our weapon of choice there of this person. All right. So now the other thing I'm going to do is that this is in front. So I'm just going to draw a rope here, guys. Yeah, Gore Vidal says his artwork looks like that cool 60s and 70s graffiti. I think he's the one that influenced it. Or maybe that's what influenced him. Maybe he saw some things out there. On YouTube, you do have some videos of him speaking at colleges, showing off Cheech Wizard, his lizards, and things like that, kind of making jokes while he's talking about them. No, we're not going to do the rope yet. Let's go over here to the beast, because he has hair that I said I was going to go back and do correctly. So it's going to be a lot of just trying to make this look solid, like hair. Have it laying on top. So whatever this beast is, I feel like rhyming when I see this, like this beast is something from a Dr. Seuss book. Nice. Okay. Let's go up here and do a little bit of hair. Okay. Then we have like rabbit-like ears that we want to try to give some weight. And I probably should be using the thicker one here. And we can bring this closer so you can see what I'm looking at here. And like again, guys, this is just for fun. You know, I would say experiment, play around, try to do some original stuff. So yeah, we'll just do some heavier lines, and I ease up as I go up. Okay. This is a little bit tricky because it's in silhouette. And it comes down lower down his eye, but nah, I'm not going to. So, nice. Go ahead and try to get some character in there. I love the expression on whatever this beast is. What I absolutely love of doing this study of this, I never noticed that the beast had these teeth right here. He has fangs. Never noticed those. All right. Got some little texture there on his snout. Got a little bit of black here to add some weight to it, of course. Add a little shading there under the eyes, give them some weights and make them look like they sink in there. See, I'm all about more black, man. I'm that Wally Wood, Frank Miller, Mike Mignola, a little bit of Tom Palmer kind of thing. Like, just load it up, man. Load it up. More black. Okay, so he has this rope going across there. So I'm going to commit, do rope in segments, and then make it bouncy. There we go. So not too bad. Not too bad, guys. Just enough we got going on here. Nice. Okay. So let's just kind of continue with the rope here because, yeah. Let's get that out of the way. We'll do this in segments. In my mind, I'm seeing it braided. And I am going to make it a little bit bigger than what's on here. I mean, in the post-apocalyptic world of wizards, I don't know if you guys even know anybody knows the the story. Let me do this. Let me get this rope out of the way, guys. Anyway, but the story of it is that we blew up the world, right? And I want to say it's like a million years later. The world is kind of healed in places. It's still post-apocalyptic, if you will, in places. And you have places where the highest radiation caused mutants to come out, to wake up, to form. Because in other places, all the creatures of fairies and wizards and elves and things, they all woke up. Apparently, they were hibernating while we were here. And immediately we have two wizards that are born. Oh my God. How am I going to? I've watched this a million times. Black Wolf and what's his brother? Montecar? Is that his name? Anyway, there's a land called the Scorch where all the it's ugly, and that's where all the what is his name? Avatar, that is. Anyway, so Scorch is the land of all the mutants and things like that, where there's a lot of radiation. And then we have Montecar, where it's lush and it looks like Tolkien land. And he had a set of brothers born that were both wizards, Black Wolf and Avatar. And they had a big battle, and Black Wolf left, and he was going to be the evil twin and the evil brother, if you will. They're not exactly twins. And then Avatar ended up being like a powerful wizard. And now Avatar's grown old a little bit, and Black Wolf's been building an army, and he's got a secret weapon that's going to bring everybody together on the bad guy side so that they can win and take over the world. And it's propaganda. He finds a lot of stuff from the World War II, from the bad guys, if you will, and it's speeches being given, and it's motivating the mutants. They have a purpose and a cause now, and they're gonna come in and have this war. You know, the Third Reich has been reborn, I guess, with mutants. I'm totally messing up this rope, but that's all right. It's post-apocalyptic rope. How nice is it supposed to be? We'll give it a little bit of weight on it by making places a little bit more, some more ink. We got that out of the way. Get some more of this back hair in there. Yeah, that'll work. All right. Nice. Yeah, that's all right. That works. That works for me. And the chicken horse here, let's get his back on there, start getting a little bit shape in there. Sorry, guys, let me pull this up. See, I started getting in the zone there, and I'm like, you're not going to see anything. And I have noticed to do this, I have slowed down a whole lot. So, yeah, that'll work. Yeah, we're just doing a quick outline here. I do have some shading going on. Chicken butt in there. And then we try to make sure that this leg has the illusion of being in front, closer to us. I've got a lot of detail in this I do not want to lose in this chicken foot. I'm actually proud of the chicken foot if you can see the pimples all the way. So we're just going to go quickly through here. Now in cartooning, what I like is there's a story of Jim Davis, the dude who drew and created Garfield. I must have hit my camera at some point, guys. It's all off and whacked up. And see if it'll stay. But he was talking about, and a lot of people don't know this about Garfield, but Garfield just sort of like took over the world there at some point. I would go to school and I would be surprised to find out that people, the kids, if you will, I'm Mr. Comic Book, and they're all talking about do something with this neck here. Get something in there. They were all talking about Garfield. And I was like, what's Garfield? You know, and that you talked about that orange cat from the Sunday Funnies. And indeed they did. And they didn't even know there was like Halloween specials and TV specials and stuff. I was usually outside doing stuff at the time. And but so I started like, the Saturday morning cartoons what brought me around. I like the Saturday morning cartoon. You had Pee-wee's Big Adventure. We had Ralph Baskey's Mighty Mouse, and then you had Garfield and Friends. And there's a whole channel, if you have access to Pluto TV, of Garfield and Friends, right? But I finally saw this interview or read this interview. I said, no, I saw the interview. I saw this interview with Jim Davis where he was talking about how he met Charles Schulz. And if you go back and look at early Garfield, he looks very different than, he ended up looking like. Basically his feet were bigger. And Charles Schulz came over there and drew on his picture of Garfield and said he needs bigger feet so he looks more balanced and stuff. So Garfield has been touched by Charles Schulz with big feet. So whenever I'm doing some kind of cartooning or drawing, I immediately think of Charles Schulz and big feet. So I'm like, that's pretty damn cool. All right, guys. So we're going to kind of cheat here to kind of speed things up. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. I'm probably going to do a lot of boldness on his saddle there, the rest of his saddle, because I want to start drawing, doing a little bit of, I don't know, I want to put some color to this, guys. I am definitely going a lot slower than I usually would. I don't mind that. It's just different for me. So we'll make some of this up here. We'll put the rug on there. As you can see, there's a rug here on the saddle. You can't have it. You can't have. You have to put keep the friction and stuff from the horse, cushion the horse, protect it, and whatever this thunder chicken is. So we're just going to we'll do a lot with color to make that a little bit more right. Okay, guys. He has whatever this is where he puts his foot. Okay. I would use a smaller pen, but let's just get this over with here. I'm reaching a point where this is what happens. I get to a certain point where I'm like, I'll finish it later. And we're not going to do that. So give some of this weight a little bit later. Okay, and here's where we're going to cheat. I got the impression of a few rugs here and stuff. Maybe I'll add some more here. Hold on, man. Since we're here, yeah, we'll add one more rug to it here. Let's see what we got here. Come up a little bit more. Over. We've got this triangle thing. circle. Then we got here. And then we have these, whatever this is, this metal border that goes around that. All right, then we'll use color to kind of fill in some of those gaps there and stuff, man. But the idea is there. All right, so I want to go ahead and I don't know if I want to try to add the weight with the color. I can always go back with ink. So we'll see what we can do with there. But there's some things here that we're going to add and try to use color. The texture, the lizard texture, the turtle shell kind of texture thing. I kind of want to try to do that with just color and see what happens and stuff, right? So we may go back and add some more inks and things. Okay. So before we get in there, got any comments going here? I never realized how boring Garfield was until I found out about Garfield minus Garfield. John is what makes the script good. Oh, you like the straight man? The straight man get being yeah, losing his mind. His dating life was what everybody kind of talked about that I remember. I never was a Garfield guy, but I enjoyed the Saturday morning cartoon if I was home. Let's see, what have I got here? Okay, we got a piece. We have a piece of rubber eraser here, so let's see what we can do. We're gonna get rid of some of these pencil lines, guys. This is all. Oh wait, I missed a big part here. Hold on. Yeah, that's what I get for talking. All right, we missed a whole arm back here. All right, let's not get into a rush there, Haller. Let's take it all. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Probably have a better one here somewhere. Let's see what we got. Actually, I think I liked it a lot with a lot of the sketch lines in there. I think it added something. I don't know how it shows up in the picture. It actually helped to get rid of those for the rope here. For the hair, I mean. The hair and the rope. All right. Not bad. Yeah, for a Saturday morning, and considering that all of the inside lines aren't showing up, here's kind of what we're looking at. Okay, you can see where I've got some more pencil stuff I want to get in there and maybe add some weight, but we'll try it with color first. Or maybe call it a day there. I don't know. What we got here? The Gore Vidal, even from a friend nicknamed Garfield, because he always was drawing him. On a presidential note, President Garfield's favorite dish was squirrel soup. It was given to him after he was shot. It was no help. Be wary, wary, quiet. I'm hunting Wooster wool. That is pretty good. That's hilarious. happened to my camera here, man? Okay. All right. Now this is why I wanted something underneath this, because this is completely the wrong paper. This is porous. It's got a bite. This is sketch paper, and we're going to use alcohol markers, my friends. So we're going to play around and see if I can find the colors, shooting from the hip. But what I'm going to try to do is that I'm going to try it. This may be a disaster, but we'll all do this together. But so we're going to do a little bit of yellow through here. And then I definitely somewhere had the correct color of red to go through this. But if we don't have the one, it doesn't matter. All right. This is all for fun. And the chicken thunder lizard here, whatever this is, thunder horse, chicken lizard, whatever, that's going to be a little bit of fun. All right. That's going to be, we'll just play around with some colors, see what we get. If this ends up looking like a Saturday morning cartoon thing, that's great, because all that'll, if it looks like it's instead of having a lot of values and art, color theory in it, if it ends up being bright, bold, and loud, it'll just pop right off the wall when I hang it up in a frame here. So, all right, enough talk. Let's see what we have here. Oh, wow. Look at that. I haven't opened this thing in forever. Here's the sketch card where I totally messed up the eye of the shadow. All right, let's get all this stuff out of the way. Here's what we're working with. This thing is completely full of alcohol markers. I looked up and I would buy them for 50% off before the prices went high at Hobby Lobby. So that's probably, I bought all these probably over 6 or 7 months when I was really into it. Okay, so let's get some colors here. We can try this one. Maybe some pinks and purples to play around with, but I have one with earthy colors. Yeah, we'll do some grays. Yeah, I got 2 sets of grays, so we used that older set. Let me see, what do we have here? We're definitely going to need some greens and blues, some earth tones. So yeah, let's do that. Let's start there. And these microns here are about empty. I actually sketched enough over the years to kill a set. All right, I think that's a good start. So I have some loose on the bottom. Okay. And if we were on the correct paper, I do have a tablet, if you will, of marker paper that you can move it. But this is blenders is what they call it, even though it doesn't really blend. You just add more alcohol to your inks. All right, guys. So let me see. All right, we'll treat this like a real paper. So we're going to get a little bit of a yellow. Let me see. Need something to test these on. We'll just use the back of this watercolor here, right? All right. Yeah, I think that'll work. We'll keep that one. We'll use a darker one as well. And a little bit of this yellow here. Okay. So guys, for you guys that are really into alcohol markers, these are Master Touch from Hobby Lobby. I have grabbed a number 33 Mellow Yellow. I'm not going to show up. I used number 2 Old Red, just in case. Number 5 Geranium. So we'll kind of start there. And I'm going to grab a little bit of a gray one here. Okay. We're going to, at least in my mind, it'll help me add some depth there. Oh, that's a little dark. Now this is the part where I'd be very quiet and I'd be playing around with the markers on a spare sheet of paper, kind of playing around to see where we're at. That's too light. So leave somewhere in the middle. That'll have to do. Okay. So I said I wanted to add a little weight to this. So let me go around the shape of it. We're not going to get too fancy because, like I said, this is the wrong paper. I'm trying to do this where you can see. I'm trying to keep it around. Respect the shape. Yeah, it's not letting me. That's going to soak into the paper. Yeah. I'm going to smooth that out. What I mean, just about like playing with it. Just because they're markers doesn't mean you have to treat it like a marker. A little texture there with this. All right. Okay. I'm missing all the good parts for you. Look at that. I'm just kind of picturing where the shadows might fall, if you will, on him. All righty. Okay. A bit on the back there. Okay. All right. Now let's add a little bit of yellows here. Because I don't know how this is going to go. Alcohol markers, the alcohol keeps them wet, if you will, and they will actually sort of kind of, I don't want to say they mix. They don't mix together. They kind of stay separate, but you're able to get like little highlights and things throughout. And like I said, I don't think about it too much. All right. See what happens here. Okay. All right, guys, this is where we're going to make it or break it. Let's see what happens here. So you know what? Let's go with the chisel side. All right. Yeah, I think that's going to work. If worse comes to worse, I can probably just go over it all in red completely. But like I said, I'm kind of trying something here. Yeah, I'm kind of digging that. And this is the part where I would have had my brain turned off and totally relaxed and kind of see like, hey, I'm kind of digging this or I'm not. And I would have played around with it. Now, a lot of times you want to plan out your highlights and just not put anything there, right? Like some of this isn't working in places, but there's places this is definitely working. And you would plan out a little bit more than I'm doing here. Getting into fine areas here. So like I said, we're just playing around here, guys. If some of this yellow isn't working, I'm just going to kind of go over it with complete red here. And then I'm going to go over it with a little bit of a darker red and try to see if I can't make some wrinkles and whatnot with it. Try to get 3 values in there. Yeah, I think it's working. Now, normally, now this is the part where I would work just a tad slower, if you will. Now, this is where, the color makes it pop. We're going to be able to see a few things. Yeah. Might lose some of the black, so I'll probably go in over it again. I've known people that sound drives them nuts. All right. What do you think? All red or keep some of the. Looks a little bit different on camera than it does. It pulls the white out on the cameras. It doesn't really give me that smooth feel that I need there. Yeah, I'm kind of going by what I'm seeing there. That's wild how the different colors seem to kind of bleach out a little bit. There we go. It's starting to blend in places. There we go. Yeah. Okay. That's definitely something to remember in the future, that it's not going to come out exactly, you're not going to see exactly what I see. You guys are seeing more of a high def picture, I guess. All right, let's get some of the wrinkles in there. Just in a few places. It's going to be sparing with this. Just add some weight to the wrinkles. Just more or less going over where the wrinkles were. The little details there. Okay. And I can already see places that's just not working, so we'll just kind of have to go over that with the red. Pretty much where the grays are, it's not working, so. Oh, that is wild. All right, better, guys? I think that's better. I kind of like how the red is broke up. Um, like I said, you're not seeing exactly what I'm seeing with the colors, but I think it's just part of it. Oh yeah. So now I'm going by the picture here and smoothing out where it looks like it's broken up. Yeah. All right, it's not too bad. Okay. have the weapon here. Instead of grays, I'm going to add a gold metal over it to make it pop a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Rope this thunder chicken. Yeah, that's going to work well. Okay, I'm kind of happy with it. All right, basic coloring. I could have done this with some regular markers, I do believe. It's so much smoother on my paper. Like, I have to look at it where this gray is right here. It's not that deep like it is there. Wow. All righty, what we got here? Oh, thank you, Gore. I appreciate that. Oh, thank Board at Church. This is cool. Appreciate it. Maybe have V and Evie meeting Leon and Mathilda in a drawing. Just a thought. Okay, okay. That's something to think about. Right. Okay. Guys, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go ahead and it's kind of blowing my mind how the colors, like I said, they look so much different in real life compared to what's there. But nothing I can do about that, guys. So I will say that it does look a bit smoother, and pops a little bit better. Okay, so let's get to these earth tones here. I'm gonna put these to the side. Yeah, let me get a few more colors here. I'm not really going to try to do a lot of blending on this. See if it's going through. Yeah, it is totally going through, and that's fine. Like I said, this was not the right paper, and I knew it, and it still doesn't bother me. So let's do a little bit of the blanket. I'm gonna get a little orange here. Oh, that's not going to do it. It's a little bit darker than I wanted, but we'll just kind of go with it. Kind of let it do its thing. Now, like I said, I'm leaving room for correction to do when we are no longer together on here. I'm getting that Zen moment there. I'm just one of those guys. I don't think I could be the guy that was in an airport sitting there doing sketches of people and places. Now, see, when I look at this, like we're getting this done here, this is cool. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm learning in the process. But what I was saying is that where the highlights were, I would plan ahead there after seeing this. I can see where my highlights would be. And I also would come in to find a different marker to come in and start blending that in, give it a rounder shape, right? So we're not going to do that right now because we're just going to get this done. It's not going to blend on this paper well. And like I said, that's fine. There's not an excuse. Maybe I'll leave a highlight here. And I've also recently found out that the danger of alcohol markers, leave a little highlight back there, is they do fade over time. I've come to find out. It doesn't matter what brand it is, from what I've been told. Okay. And I could also layer this to get darker places, if you will. Keep working it, put layers over it and everything like that. Go back to a yellow. And another thing that you can do is with your artwork is go back. Some of this is trying to layer. That's pretty good. Is you go back with fresh eyes. Just get your stuff laid out and then turn around and be like, okay, so I'm going to add some more gray to this. I mean, we come this far, why not? All right, get more of that, get some weight in there. All right. Work on the thunder chicken face here. See, I have some greens I'm probably going to go over that with. Oh man, that's coming out pretty cool. Like I said, I'm digging some of this, guys. I'm getting in that zone where I got to remember to say something to entertain you guys. Okay, we go heavy here, and just go heavy on the neck. Okay. Getting a little ahead of myself there. Getting in the zone. All right. Let's get those earthy colors out, guys. See what we can come up with here. Well, I guess I need to finish that. So, all right. I guess I need to finish the blanket here underneath the saddle. Let's get the. Otherwise, I wouldn't have cared. I'd be all over the place. So I'm going to go with this blue for the inside here. Add a little bit there. What we got there? And I'm just going to pick a random purple out here. That'll pop really well, complement that yellow gold in there. I didn't draw enough X's there. That's all right. And I totally missed that hand with the red. See, that's what I'm saying. It's a learning experience for me, guys. I'm seeing things that I missed coloring. So I was getting into it. There we go. All right. And now we'll fill the rest up with some green. Nice. All right, that makes that pop. I kind of like leaving the white in there. I think I'll leave that white in there. I may change my mind. So yeah, I didn't line up enough squares in there, but it's all good. It's all right. Yeah. Okay, so all these go in this one. What is it, Lester? I have a cat in distress, guys. Let me do some gold highlights here. What's wrong, Lester? I need a little bit of a brown. All right, guys, y'all think it's coming together a little bit? I'm starting to get into the zone with it. Oh yeah, kind of digging it myself. Yeah, not bad for something that's just going to go in a little cheap frame from a cheap sketch pad and stuff, right? Fantastic. Nice. All right, so let's play around with the Thunder Beast here. Let me get a little coffee. Lester, what is it? I got to see what's wrong with my cat, guys. I'll be right back. Well, oh, there you are. What's wrong? All right, everybody. The cat is all right. He just wanted attention. He's probably trying to make me do something, like go upstairs or something. All right, so let's get these earth tones. I don't know. Yeah, we'll play around with the earth tones, I do believe. And we'll see if we can't get a few of these colors in here. It's almost like tortoise in there. Yeah, definitely the high def camera going from what I see onto the internet is so different. These are tones of greens and stuff. So I don't know if you're seeing that or not. So apparently olive green is in here. So let's play around with the olive green, the heavier one first. I know you usually want to go dark to light, but I mean, who knows? All right, let's see what this is going to do. Okay. I roughly have some of these circles fit in there, but I'm going to kind of try to remember the shape of the creature and just kind of go. And like I said, where I'm talking, it may not work out, but that's all right. All right. We'll do the Bob Ross idea of art is everything's a happy accident. Lester, what is wrong? The cheap paper is making a difference. It is bleeding as I try to make my shapes here. Reminds me of dinosaur shapes that the blotches and stuff from the Flintstones dinosaurs. What this actually reminds me of. So we got a big one here. I'll tell you what, I have no problem really feeling zero stress doing this, live and talking and everything like that. But man, when the cat was going off, man, I was starting to lose it a little bit. I was getting stressed out. What's wrong with my cat? Oh no. And this is one of those things where just kind of go with it. See how the shapes fit together. Trying to keep space in between them. As the paper bleeds the ink. I kind of like that effect on a few places. Nice. I'm not even looking at my reference here. I'm just kind of going with it. That's interesting. Sorry for being quiet, guys. I'm just kind of getting into this. This is what happens when this is why I enjoy just doing this kind of stuff for myself. I'll figure all that out later. So I'm not even looking at the reference. I'm kind of seeing where it feels like it kind of looks good to me. Green beside of green. Yeah, what's coming out gray? Look at that. This is an olive green I'm using, and I just looked up at my screen and it's coming out looking gray. It's really looking very good here, guys. So I hate that it's not really translating. How about one down here? Little ones. Yeah, we'll do a few on the neck here. Okay, guys, that actually came out pretty good. Okay, yeah. And now we get a lighter green. A little pale green here. And let's see what happens. There are places that it is darker. So I'm not going to go in there heavy with this. Kind of will be darker and more in the center, and as we go out it'll get lighter. Guys, I'm very happy with how this is turning out. That is pretty cool. I added a lot more spots, animal spots, than it probably needed, but I dig it. Nice. Okay. All right, here's chocolate. Let's see how chocolate comes out. I wonder if it's the same as a brown here. Looks exactly the same to me. Nah, there's a difference. Minor difference. Very small difference. Okay. All right. This should be interesting. I'm probably going to go in with ink after I put in this marker and put in some chicken leg textures here, now that I'm looking at it. So guys, hopefully, as you can see, it's just that simple with some of this stuff. Get in there and just play around. You don't be afraid of using up whatever you have in the house. Like I said, I've showed you the picture before this. I'm taking a break from this. I'm gonna have to go back and look at this with fresh eyes, guys. That is so different looking at it on high def. Wow. Anyway, I do hope it's looking pretty good to you guys. That yellow is really popping. So, like I said, this is how I played around. This was a gift. This sketchbook. It also came with pencils. And as you can see, all the pencils, even though they were different shades, and I say here and tested them, they all ended up looking alike. So I did a real quick Sketchy Johnny quest there to play around. This was with these markers here. They were dying. I was playing around, seeing what these are the things that I carry around with me if I travel. This little ink pens and markers and dried up highlighters and stuff. And apparently I threw it out. I did throw it out. Daggone it. Oh no, there's one. So yeah, this is made with, you see how even though there's different grays in there and stuff, and this is just a quick sketch, my camera is trying to bow out on me. But anyway, this is kind of like, this is supposed to be sort of like a Vampire Hunter D. We were watching Vampire Hunter D the other night. The 10th. Oh, this is from 2 weeks ago. Anyway, so this was November 10th, and these markers are dying, like they're running out of fluid, out of the ink inside of them, just Sharpie markers. So I was like trying to get values out of them with as they were dying. And that's actually kind of cool, what I was able to get out of them. It's cool. That's like it's an experiment. Like I said, I must have had something laying around me upstairs for me to draw this and stuff. There's no way that I could draw. I could probably do Spooky and Casper by memory, but not Hot Stuff, which is wild because I love Hellboy Jr. here much better. That was just the other night playing around. This was an original idea that I was having, so I just tried to hurry up and get it down. And what you can't see in this one, I have this ink pen that I love these when I was a kid. So when I found found this one at like a 5 and below, but you hit it and it's different color ink. What you can't see is that I have red and purple inks going through there to make like blood vessels and arteries and stuff, right? There's color popping in this, but apparently it's not showing up from what I can see. And this is what we've done today, guys. So I'm going to kind of leave it there. I'm going to look at this with fresh eyes. I have no regrets. I'm happy with how it came out. I'm just not happy that it's how it's showing on high def. Maybe on the rewind it'll look a little bit better. But I'm going to go back on it a little bit later with some fresh eyes. I'm going to do a little bit with the head now that I've seen how the alcohol markers will kind of bleed into the paper a little bit more. I'm very happy with the greens. And I'm probably going to go in here, like I said, with another ink pen and put in a lot of chicken leg detail and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's about it, man. This is just going to be, this was for fun. Maybe play around. Right now, I'm at a point where I want to look at it with fresh eyes. I'm not going to rush this for a show and see what I can do. I'm thinking maybe some kind of circle, just kind of bring it together and have some kind of color that makes it pop, or maybe keep the circle white and do colors around it. But there'll be some kind of border or something like that, guys. Okay. So, guys, I appreciate everybody coming in. Like I said, this is just for fun. You don't have to be a trained artist to enjoy art and the characters that you like. Make up your own stuff. Just look around and see what you have laying around. Use up your art supplies before you buy any more if you have them in the house. That's the only advice I will give someone. Use what you have. Otherwise, you just kind of look around and feel overwhelmed or like you're not doing anything. I'm not a huge fan of the alcohol markers, but I think they're pretty cool. So just kind of get a close up since we're here. Here's William Stout's original. Again, it's been recolored for the DVD. So yeah, this is kind of what we came up with today. I really dig the yellow highlights that I left in there. And like I said, this is cheap paper, so it's kind of cool. I see it. I see it as cool. It's a different take on the alcohol markers. The gray adds weight. I think so. I'm going to work on a little bit more with some fresh eyes. Try to get a little bit more 3D rendering in there. But there we go. Yeah, Nekron 99, peace on a thunder chicken. Maybe a thunder bunny. I don't know. And check out the movie. Check out Heavy Metal, the movie. Check out the soundtrack. And make sure you like, subscribe, leave comments. If you like it, let me know. If you think it sucks, let me know. And if you decide to try something like this, let me know. Check me out on Instagram as Howler Mouse. And thanks for what's popped in here. Let's check the comments. And that's it, man. All right, guys. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for hanging out. Later.